Hey, I'm Drew Carey, God's hacky sack.
If God had a name, what would it be and would you call it to his face? If you would face with him and all his glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? And yeah, God is great.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? This season, a title fight is brewing. That's right, Eddie Murphy versus Jim Carrey. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is a man with a monkey coming out of his butt, Joe Vekeman.
Oh, that's my monkey coming out of my butt impression.
And on the audio boards is a man who do the cha-cha, Lev Van Rensselaer. Reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtotthemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Tapeworms. Having trouble measuring things in your house? Want a loosey-goosey tape measure? How about Tapeworms? Just for you. Some assembly required. All right, Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
We watched the 2003 smash hit, Bruce Almighty.
And what happens in the film?
I think this is a very accurate plot description. A whiny news reporter is given the chance to step into God's shoes. This motherfucker whines more than my son. I couldn't take it anymore. What a little bastard.
Oh, that's it. That's the whole description.
Yeah, shut up and be grateful for what you got, you little dick. That's what I say to him. He's on TV with a fucking cake job, and he's in love with Jennifer Aniston, and he has a nice sized apartment in New York. What are you fucking complaining about? What a little bitch. I was so sick of this guy.
Yes, Jennifer Aniston returns to the cast.
Oh, yes.
Joe, I also saw Evan Almighty.
Well, you saw our friend Steve Odekirk's name on that screenplay, did you?
Yes, I saw he got to be one of the writers.
I'll tell you, he rewrote this for Jim. There was a script, and then they brought Jim on, and then they were like, let's give it to Steve to give it a little pass.
In your scouring of internet trivia, did you find out what big changes happened when Jim was on board? Because it didn't feel necessarily written for Jim.
No, I haven't found anything that made it a big change. But so the whole thing with this is that Jim was supposed to be doing in a different movie. He's supposed to be doing a Universal movie called Dog Years to be directed by Gary Ross. But the film got canceled. And then Universal was like, we got to get a Jim vehicle going. It's been a couple of years. Eddie's taking the reins.
Yeah.
He's knocking him out.
He's running the way with mediocre movie after mediocre movie. We can't let that happen.
Yes. It's not like he's burning up the box office, but he just won't stop shitting out movies. Yeah. So it was, the original intention was to, they had a script from Universal had a script for spec script for $1 million titled Bruce Almighty. They brought Tom Shadyac on, and then in 2002 they signed Jim Carrey, and then they got Steve Odekirk to rewrite the script, and you get a picture.
Damn, a spec script for $1 million. What a time to be alive.
Yeah. This was a crazy time. This is like when I was actually starting to pay attention to what was going on with this shit. Because I was like, I want to go see all the summer movies. And I remember I got my little Entertainment Weekly summer movie preview. Nerd! I was a major nerd, but I wanted to see the new Matrix movie. Matrix Reloaded came out a week before this.
Okay.
I didn't see Daddy Daycare, which was the week before The Matrix Reloaded. But I believe this is the same weekend as Finding Nemo. And this movie topped that weekend, and then the next weekend it was Finding Nemo took over.
Well, that must make Jim feel good. And it's sort of the closest, right? We've had Eddie and Jim in competition with each other.
But This movie was a massive hit. Budget, $81 million.
There was a lot of poorly done special effects, but I bet they were expensive at the time.
Absolutely. Box office worldwide, $484.
Ooh, everybody loving God.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
They were like, man, that Passion of the Christ movie was so good. I need a...
That movie hasn't come out yet, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
They're like, what is this passion? We gotta get our hands on this shit.
Yeah.
More God.
Maybe that was what convinced Mel. They're like, they're ready.
They're ready. We need violence with our God now.
Yeah, Jim, you can't make fun of God. That's not hilarious.
Yeah, big 484 worldwide.
So, and yet, doing better than Daddy Daycare, but nobody wanted to come on and do the Bruce Almighty episode. I had like 6 people want to come on and do the Daddy Daycare episode. So
weird.
Talk about cultural footprint. Also, Bruce Almighty only has 1 sequel. Daddy Daycare, 2.
And I'll tell you, do you know what's different between Daddy Daycare and Bruce Almighty for me?
What?
Daddy Daycare has 4 stars and Bruce Almighty has 1 star.
Wow. Daddy Daycare just pulling on your heartstrings unabashedly.
This movie didn't pull on any of my heartstrings because I was like, this guy's a fucking whiny loser. I hate him.
I like this movie more.
Well, of course you did. You contrarian.
No. Yeah, is he complaining? Sure. But it reminded me of that Preston Sturges film. Geez. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sullivan's Travels. That's what it is.
Yes.
Guy who's like, I don't want to make people laugh. I want to do like serious, important things. And then he learns, oh no, making the people laugh is okay. So, you know, a time-honored arc for a character.
Yeah, that was The Majestic.
Was it?
Because that movie's serious and it's not funny.
Wow, I don't remember that. I remember a lot of communist stuff. I don't remember laughing things.
Yeah, well, he should have been making everyone laugh. Instead, he made that movie.
Oh, I see. I thought it was a cute little movie about, like, God being like, everybody, like, fucking chill out, all right? Here's what God really is. And I'm like,
Did you like the clapper joke?
I mean, I didn't think this movie had a lot of jokes.
No.
Which seemed odd. Like, the first act was going by, and I'm like, sure, it'd be nice if Jim did a Jim thing here.
Just a bit
unsure.
Once in a while.
I don't know what Steve Odekirk is up to, but doesn't seem to be putting any jokes in for Jim to do.
Well, he's putting in all...
I guess those German cookie people were amusing. I like Jim as a local news reporter. I bought into it. He looks like that would be a job he would have had if he were less funny.
It's just funny that I saw the Friendship movie last night.
Oh, yeah, you saw it? Did you also agree it was awkward?
Very awkward. It was awkward because I was the only one belly laughing in the theater, and the 2 other bald dudes in the theater with me were like, just silence.
Yeah, we don't get this. My theater was packed, and everybody seemed to know who this Tim Robinson gentleman was.
Yeah, because they watched Netflix's I Think You Should Leave. You should also watch this. Very funny sketch show. And
they all loved it.
Oh, great.
They couldn't stop laughing, as I'm just like, oh.
It was the reverse situation. You liked it, though. I saw you liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was well done. Mm-hmm. But I left, and afterwards I'm like, oh, I feel like such shit.
I said that movie was I Love You Man, directed by the Safdies.
Very awkward. Paul Rudd, more interesting than normal. He felt like his character in Anchorman.
Yes.
That's what it was.
He had the same haircut.
The director was like, I love your character in Anchorman. We're going to do that again. But, like, what's real life like for this dude?
I would love to talk about that movie all day. But we can't. So yes, 242 domestically, 484 worldwide. This is making it Aniston and Carey's highest grossing film worldwide, and as well as the 5th highest grossing film of 2003. That's a big year to have 2003 to have your 5th highest grossing movie as Bruce Almighty.
I mean, it's just like Lord of the Rings and then everything else.
I think you have a Lord of the Rings. I think you have a Harry Potter. I think you have a Pirates of the Caribbean. Finding Nemo. I think that's the top 5. And then you have Bruce Almighty, though. That's one of those things doesn't like match.
I watched Bruce Almighty in the theaters. I watched The Lord of the Rings in the theaters. I watched none of those other films in the theaters.
Yeah. Well, I saw Finding Nemo. But that was in the drive-in with my sisters.
They showed us Finding Nemo in our middle school on like one of the last days. They were like, we're not going to bother teaching you anything. Here you go.
Why just move about fish?
Yeah, I was just like, well, I'm taking a nap. Yes, I saw this in the theater. It might have been the last chronological Jim Carrey movie I think I've seen.
That's insane.
I don't know if I saw anything else after this.
Or is it perfectly normal? And I just saw them out of spite.
What's the last Jim Carrey movie you guys have seen in the theater? Email the cast at whathappenedtothem@gmail.com. I hadn't seen Evan Almighty. I forgot Steve Carell was in this movie, the Bruce Almighty movie. So I thought it was just like a completely random sequel when it was being marketed.
Oh, Evan Almighty? Yeah.
Yeah, but Steve Carell's sort of in his Office season 1 phase of being a dick during this movie. Evan Almighty, in that one, we followed the jerk from this movie, and he suddenly is now a congressman.
Yeah, news anchor to congressman. How does that?
Yep, we see his co-anchor for half a second as they're like, all right, well, he's leaving the station to go. And now I'm like, oh, does Jim get to swoop in now? Or what's he up to? No one talks about him. And now he's married to the woman from Gilmore Girls, and they moved down to Washington. And his two assistants are Wanda Sykes and that guy who's got the funky voice.
Okay, I'm looking him up. I've seen this movie about...
He was the professor in Community who does like the Dead Poet Society thing. Yeah, he's just got like this game show host voice kind of thing going. He's got 3 names. He was in an episode of Frasier.
John Michael Higgins.
Yes. And then also your guy shows up. He's the bad guy.
Who, Jonah Hill?
No.
Ed Helms?
No. The guy, Roseanne guy. What's his name?
John Goodman.
There you go. Yeah, the Steve Carell movie got a little... One, it felt like a sort of a big budget, straight-to-DVD movie.
Do you think it was better directed by Tom Shadyac, or was it better directed by Darren Aronofsky?
I was thinking of that movie a lot.
I know you like that one.
As I watched this, I did like that one. That was definitely better. This movie, like, the nice thing about Bruce Almighty was despite it being a man becoming God, it's a very kind of localized and down-to-earth-ish film.
Yeah.
The other movie was a little too ridiculous. God's coming in and Deus Ex Machinaing a bunch of stuff, and, a giant flood happens, and all these animals show up at Steve Carell's house. It just felt like a little ridiculous, where in this other one, it was a little more believable for a movie about a man who becomes God.
I have to look this up. I have to find this. If I can just cite this fact. Evan Almighty. Okay, the budget on Evan Almighty was $175 million, and it made $174.4 million.
Didn't stop Steve Carell's career.
No.
Wasn't great. Definitely preferred Bruce.
I saw that once, and I was like, weird. Didn't like this.
No, it just felt very different in tone, too. It didn't have to be a sequel. It could have been its own script, and then it just happened to be God related. So they're like, oh, let's piggyback off this, shall we? Like, if you cut off the first 5 minutes, you wouldn't even have known it was the same character.
And I believe almost 4 years later, this is like his first real. He's even credited as Stephen Carell.
Yeah. Yeah, some of his, like you said, Ed Helms and Jon Stewart show up, his Daily Show friends.
Yes.
We have also Philip Baker Hall, a notable actor of the Richard Nixon variety.
Oh, yeah.
From our Watergate watch. Jim's good friend Clint gets a shout out.
There's a whole scene. He does a whole Clint impression. Again, how many times has he done Clint in a movie and then hung out with Clint?
It's sort of like an unofficial sequel to an earlier film we did, Hoffa.
That's so stupid. I hated this fucking movie so much. It's so dumb.
So do you think the monkey in this movie that came out of that gentleman's butt, do you think that was the same monkey from Dr. Doolittle's 1 through 5?
Isn't that fucking monkey from Community? Isn't it all the same monkey? Do we know?
I think the Community monkey was not the same monkey from Dr. Doolittle. I asked about that one of those times we did it.
We do need to mention one of the innocent people from this movie, Lisa Ann Walter, our friend from Whoopi.
What?
Isn't she in Whoopi?
Who? Lisa Ann Walter?
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
Wasn't she Whoopi's friend? Am I crazy?
Oh, I need to see a picture of her, and then I will.
She was Jennifer Aniston's sister in this. No, she's an Eddie. Is she in Whoopi, though? Maybe she's just an Eddie. I know she hung out with Whoopi.
She just hung out with Whoopi in general?
Well, in a show or a movie. Either way, she's great. Leave her alone.
In this movie?
Yeah, she's fine.
I mean, she didn't really do anything in this movie.
That's why I said she's innocent. Leave her alone.
I got no beef with her.
Good.
I have no thoughts about her, in fact. This was another movie where Morgan Freeman ends up on top of Mount Everest. Didn't think that would happen.
What other movie? Oh, the bucket list. I was like, what other movie could that have been?
We also get a little "Alrighty Then" cameo.
Oh.
I think that was one of Steve Odenkirk's little gems he put in there for him.
From his own movie.
Here was something I thought was particularly brilliant. Mm-hmm. This Mark Twain chili cook-off. It makes no sense. It comes out of nowhere. It doesn't go anywhere, but I'm all for it. Just everybody looking like Mark Twain at a chili cook-off. Why not?
Oh, yeah, and he's got the... Yeah. And then there's like a meteor that hits the...
Yeah, meteor comes in and crash. Yeah, I liked when he did his God stuff, like with this meteor and pulling the moon close. Then, like, later on, there would be actual real-world consequences for it, where it's like, oh, we have floods in the Philippines. Or like, oh, no, all the power and water is out in this city because of this meteor. Whoops. Also, another great joke in here was he makes his little God, his God program, and then it comes up and it goes the Yahoo song, but it's Yahweh instead. And I'm like, damn, that joke is great, but nobody outside of 2006 will remember what that is referencing.
Here you go. This is just for you. For the monkey coming out of the guy's butt, 2 capuchin monkeys were used for this part. Levy was the monkey used to get the close-up reaction shots, and Spencer, there we go, there's the monkeys, and Spencer was used for the moving shots. The special effects department built a fake body frame that was supported by bars and dressed it like the actor. A special padded platform was built inside the pants near the torn seam for the monkey to sit on. This is such an elaborate stunt for like a 3-second scene. The seam in the back of the pants was torn and Velcro sewn onto it held it together. A trainer placed Levi on the seat just before the filming began, and another trainer stood on the other side of the pants just off camera. When that trainer called to the monkey, it pulled the seam open and the trainer would develop different toys to get different reactions. Levi was also the monkey who reacted to the fight in the alley by covering his mouth. The trainer put the monkey on its mark and stood off camera using hand signals to get the monkey to cover its mouth. This is so in-depth. We don't ever have this.
Tom Shadyac really pulling out all the stops for this monkey gag.
Yeah, so it's Levi and Spencer were the monkeys.
Levi? Lev, are you a monkey now? When did that happen?
Say what?
My goodness. Wait, this movie definitely didn't shoot at Niagara Falls.
No, that green screen is brutal. I'm just seeing this. Eva Mendes was originally cast as Susan Ortega, the co-news anchor that Bruce's would be working with, but had to be replaced due to scheduling conflicts with Too Fast, Too Furious. Do you think she made the right decision?
They both are major successful movies. I don't fault her either way.
I think she has a bigger part in Too Fast, Too Furious because she's like an undercover agent in that. And then she would have like 4 scenes where she had 2 lines.
Yeah.
So I think she made the right decision.
Oh, there was a sick burn on the Dark Ages I was all for.
What was that sick burn? Remind me.
What are you talking about? You don't go on vacation? He goes, yeah, remember the Dark Ages? And I go, okay, I buy that. It's a highbrow joke, Joe. You wouldn't get it.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah. It's not for you. It's not, men in a broccoli costume. So I can see how it's easy to overlook.
You do not defile the great Daddy Daycare.
Yeah, Bruce Almighty versus Daddy Daycare. We got to go head to head. We got to do a little Twitter poll.
Well, that's not fair.
It's not fair.
The one that has the better legacy is Daddy Daycare. The one that made more money is Bruce Almighty. And as we know, all good movies don't make a lot of money.
I'm going strictly commercial here. I'm selling out for Bruce Almighty. It's what God would want.
Jack Nicholson turned down the role of God.
Man, that would have been great.
Yeah.
He would have been so weird about it, though.
And then it's funny because right around the same time, he took the role from Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy didn't want to play against Sandler in anger management. It's all weird. Look at all this like handshaking we're doing here.
It's the same 5 guys traveling through Hollywood development conversations again and again.
Oh, this surpassed Home Alone as the highest grossing original comedy worldwide. Jim Carrey was paid $25 million, the biggest salary of his career.
You know, that explains why the movie's budget was what it was.
This movie marks the third Tom Shadyac film with a reference to Jimmy Hoffa. The first was in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The second was in The Nutty Professor. We've covered so many Tom Shadyac movies this year.
What are we doing? My God. I mean, like, that's interesting. So Tom Shadyac kind of knows what to do with Jim, but then did this movie with him where we're not really doing a lot of Jim stuff. There's a couple of moments, but which maybe is the couple of things Steve added, but it really isn't a full-on Jim movie.
Jim Carrey and Steve Carell were born in the same year. Do they look the same age?
I don't know about now, but then Steve Carell looked a lot older in this movie.
No, Steve Carell's getting like in his sexy phase. He's got some salt and pepper hair.
I'm just talking about in 2003, Steve Carell looked like the older one. I will say, though, Jim's character must be feeling pretty lucky that he had his major news meltdown 10 years earlier, because otherwise it would have been all over YouTube and social media.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you ready for a little Drew Carey musical licensing issues?
Oh, just one last thing I got to tell you.
Okay.
So to do this movie, Jim Carrey turned down the role of Captain Jack Sparrow. What kind of nightmare scenario do we live in if that's the case?
Is that even the same movie? Like, would you use that tone, that Verbinski tone and style if you had
never
Jim?
Done a Disney thing. Oh, no, he has. Sorry, he has. But it's like Dickens.
I thought the whole thing was that movie was like a straight movie, and then Johnny Depp came in and like made his character comical and fun.
I believe that's how it went.
So why did you want to cast Jim?
I don't think they knew what they were doing with that movie.
Yeah.
Clearly evident in the sequels. They're like, more of the same?
Yeah.
Get weirder?
Whatever then. Yes, okay. I guess I'm glad Jim Carrey wasn't in that movie.
Yeah.
As interesting as Jack would be in this movie, I'm glad it was Morgan Freeman. And because I think that added to the wholesomeness of the God thing.
Yeah. And that's when the whole, like, Morgan Freeman is God meme started.
And I'm also glad, I don't know, I might have wanted Eddie more than Jack in the anger management. I don't know.
I love Jack in that. That's a great Jack role for me. I just wish the movie was better around him.
Okay. Yes, what an odd...
If we didn't have Jack Nicholson in anger management, we wouldn't have that incredible gif of him nodding his head with that, like, disturbing smile. It's like incredible. It
does feel like a lot of things would have to change in that movie for Eddie's sake. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I could see Eddie smiling like that maniacally at Sandler.
I don't
just
know.
Like,
I think...
Yes.
I don't know if you get that frog fart joke either. Like, that doesn't seem like an Eddie thing.
Oh, what a great joke.
Yeah, Lev,
you like the joke?
Lev, get the Drew bump. All right.
Moon over Parma, bring my love to me tonight. Guide her to Eastlake.
All right, so Drew Carey has this crush on this handy woman. Jenica Bergeron. That doesn't seem like her name. Anyway, a woman I almost got to cast in something, but we couldn't get the schedule to work out. Anyway, he's got a crush on her for a lot of the season, and then finally she breaks up with her boyfriend, but then only wants, like, booty calls with Drew. But Drew wants a real relationship with her. So they do a whole montage with that Call Me song from the 80s.
Call Me Maybe?
No, that's definitely not from the 80s, Joe. Good Lord.
I don't know the song you're talking about.
It's like a Pat Benatar song or someone who sounds like Pat Benatar. Maybe it's Blondie. Call me. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That song that's been in a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, like a post-disco song. Anyway, great little montage there. Totally thrown out of rhythm with whatever. The substitute song thematically, lyrically is in the same vein, but doesn't fit the editing as well. They clearly just were like, replace and put new song in. And we're done. No work at all. And then in that same episode, now he's not in the mood anymore because he's just being used as a sex object. So she's trying to like get him re-interested. And she does like a striptease bit and like sings a song herself. She's like, da-na-na-na-na. That all got cut out. She couldn't sing the song that she was singing, I guess. even though she was using no words and wasn't in the usual rhythm of it. Though I think it was like some old blues song kind of thing.
Call Me was sung by Blondie.
Yeah, see? There you go.
And we've covered Debbie Harry in previous series.
We have?
Yeah, she was in a movie with Julia Roberts.
Oh, I do vaguely remember that. What movie was it?
I want to say Satisfaction for some reason.
Because that's the movie about rockers.
Yes, and it's in the 80s.
It certainly was her heyday. Then Drew and Mimi do the short con at a bowling alley where they hustle on the lanes. And then, of course, what song do they pick for one of those montages? Do the Hustle.
Oh, Do the Hustle.
Excellent. Excellent song. I don't know if young people still know that song, but that's the song they picked. That song did not make the cut.
That song, how old is that song? That song is from 1975.
Yes, that definitely an early disco song. Well, not allowed to use it.
Well, their loss.
And then, last 5 minutes of your 27-episode season
It's a big one.
is a great big Broadway musical number, Brotherhood of Men. Big old 5 minutes. It actually resolves the plot. Your episode can't end without it. So I was like, do they just pony up for that? Or do they do more awkward cutting like I've been seeing all of season 4? It's like 2 out of every 3 episodes has some awkward cutting because of some music thing. Well, it turns out they just kept it. They did what they had to do, and they kept the song, and I got to enjoy it. And now we'll see what season 5 has to offer. There you go. We got through the musically intense season 4, which included the removal of 1 full episode because of all the musical issues that were happening.
That's crazy.
Yes, I know.
Weird. What a weird world we live in. Like, who's offended if the Drew Carey show has their musical sequences? Who, besides you, who else is watching this?
Wow,
They did this for you. They did this for you.
I do slowly but surely put 5 stars on every episode of the Drew Carey show I watch on Plex. In hopes that the producers will be like, wow, we're really popular. Maybe we should go for those musical rights. Because, like, if the next step is, like, we're going to put these out on DVD, but it's with the musical edits, I'm going to be heartbroken.
Yeah. And they'll see that it's 5 stars and there's no, like, less than 5 stars because it's just 1 of 1.
Well, hopefully Plex hides that. And they're just like, wow, we got 5 stars across the board. We must be hugely popular. Whatever. Plex can lie. Netflix lies. Plex can lie too. It's fine.
I don't even know what Plex is. You talk about it, I'm like, what is Plex? It's this made-up system that you found.
It's real. It's real. All right, let's do a little title fight sequence.
Oh,
all right?
one last thing. I just saw this. Sorry, one last thing. Jim Carrey often insisted on doing upwards of 30 takes of some scenes.
I won't lie, I sort of appreciate that. Because usually when the stars get this big, they do the Clint thing. They're like, 1, we're done. I did the funny. Leave me alone.
Oh, you mean the Eddie thing.
Oh. Well, that's a good segue to our title fight.
Yes.
All right, so Eddie's had the 2002/2003 that he's had. Jim's had the 2003 that he's had. Who do you like here? If you're in 2003, who were you like, wow, this is trending well?
Probably Jim. If this is 2003 me, 13-year-old me, I'm definitely going for Jim. I liked Bruce Almighty when I watched it when I was 13. It does not hold up when you're 35. There's only so much you can get from the gibberish scene when he does that. I thought that was funny.
But in 2025, you're like firmly in Camp Eddie because of one movie out of the 4 crappy ones that he did.
Well, I mean, it's just at a certain point you're like, well, this guy just keeps shitting him out. You gotta admire the
The tenacity.
Yeah, because he's got another one coming out soon.
Oh God!
Like this year, he's got 2003. He's got a
second 2003 movie coming
he's got
out.
his haunted mansion we gotta go visit.
Is that next? Is that what I'm doing next?
That is next. Are you going to watch the new remake from last year or 2 years ago?
I guess I sort of have to, don't I?
You set yourself up for these.
I do. I've backed myself into a corner. Journalistic integrity.
I wanted to watch it, so you know what? I might actually watch that one with you.
I know it's got Danny DeVito.
Yep.
That's all I know.
It does have Danny DeVito. Yeah, I like Lakeith Stanfield, so I was going to watch it.
Oh, he's in there. All right, well, there you go. I like him.
That's why I'm like, hey, can you really go wrong?
Did I just see, does Netflix have a TV show with Steve Carell and Coleman Domingo?
Oh, wait, what? Coleman? Okay, we got to check in on that then. That's our guy.
Because I saw it on Netflix yesterday, like a preview, and I was like, oh, this is an interesting movie. And they're like, see all 8 episodes. And I was instantly like, I don't want to watch this then.
Looking this up.
If I was getting a 2-hour movie, I'd go for it. But I don't want a show. I want a movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we probably have to draw our line because there's too many things. So what could this be called?
I don't know. It's like the first thing on Netflix.
No, is this the 4 seasons?
Maybe.
With Tina Fey? Yeah, Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Coleman Domingo.
Tina Fey was not in the little preview on Netflix.
She is the creator and star of the show. I'm looking at her right now. She's there. There's 30-minute episodes. There's 8 of them. This is definitely based off of the MASH. Who's the lead in
Alan
MASH?
Alda?
Thank you. There's an Alan Alda movie called The 4 Seasons from, I believe, the late 70s.
So you're saying we have something based on IP that Netflix made? Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, and they have the 4 Seasons original movie on there too.
Sure. You got last looks on Bruce Almighty.
I sure do. This is a real skip it for me. This does not hold up at all. It was actually really long feeling. I know it's not that long. It's like 95 minutes, but it feels like 2 hours. I don't know. It felt like, I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it. He's so whiny. And I'm like, dude, your life is good. That's what pissed me off the most. 'Cause I'm like, you know what? I'll trade with you. You want my life? You dick. You got last looks?
My last looks, I think it's a cute little movie. I think it's a nice, good way to have people recontextualize their relationship within themselves and with other people and the world around them. It's a nice eschatological look at the nature of the universe. I thought it's a little meditative in that way, a little humbling. Why does Jim Carrey do this movie, though? Well,
yeah, he got a nice big fat check.
He got to get some work for his friend Steve Odenkirk. And maybe he liked hanging out with Morgan Freeman. I don't know anything about that. It was Morgan Freeman being like, now, Jim, I cannot sanction your buffoonery. Like, I don't think so. They seem to be getting along just fine.
I can't sanction your buffoonery.
Yes, he pulled a little Tommy Lee Jones on him. I don't know. Jennifer Aniston I liked. I wish she got to do amusing things in the movie.
Do something.
You know what I will say, though? I thought Jim acting was actually pretty good here. Like, he has to have those moments where he's realizing kind of how powerless he is as God and how much he's hurting his girlfriend. And it's a lot more of a dramatic beat that he plays more authentically than he did throughout all of The Majestic.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's good for him or good for Tom Shadyac.
All 2 hours and 20 minutes of The Majestic.
Yes.
The longest movie on Earth.
Okay,
Can you imagine going to see that movie when you're 10 years old, expecting to see a funny fucking Jim Carrey movie, and you're like, huh.
I just think most people our age didn't have that problem, Joe. I think most people were like me and didn't even remember it came out.
That was my birthday movie that year, and I wanted to see the new Jim Carrey movie, and you know how fucking disappointed I was?
Well, you know, your parents should have set the expectations. We saw the trailer, Joe. You're not laughing here. This isn't Wolf of Wall Street. It's not that type of comedy Christmas block movie.
We had no idea what that was back then. We were still 13 years away from that.
All right. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for running those audio boards and keeping it sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Tapeworms, coming to a colon near you. I'd like to thank Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
What if God was one of us? Just a snob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way. Just trying to make his way home.
I've started watching a fourth Bob Newhart show.
No, there's a fourth one.
This one's just called Bob. This one came out in the early 90s. And I thought it was amusing because it was about Bob Newhart's a comic book artist in this one.
Huh.
And he has this old superhero from, decades ago when he was younger that has long since gone out of print. But now a new company wants to buy it and turn it into a gritty modern reboot. Like what happened to Batman in that time.
When did this take place?
In the early 90s.
Wow.
Right when Batman started getting darker, I think this might have been a response to that in the comics world, not necessarily the movie world. Anyway, the pilot started off not great, and then in the second half it really rebounded. So I'm like, all right, had this kooky boss character that you only ever hear. I'm like, I'm into this. I could do that.
Yeah.
But then the second episode, boss seems to have been replaced with a different guy that I don't like as much, and the jokes for him have they were too edgy in the first episode, and they scaled it back afterwards.
They got notes.
But I'll tell you, coincidentally enough, the day George Wendt died, I turned on an episode, and George Wendt was in the episode playing himself.
No.
Surreal. He is friends with Bob's character, and all of his coworkers find out. He's like, yeah, my friend George Wendt. And they're like, we don't know who that is. And he goes, he plays Norm on Cheers. And they go, we know the guy who plays Norm on Cheers, which I feel like is pretty much how his career went.
Yeah.
You're like, who? George who? And you're like, Norm. And they go, oh, that guy. Yeah.
I definitely saw George Wendt in something else, though.
Well, Granddaddy Daycare, obviously.
Well, that's not it. But how long did this show go on for? How many years?
About a year and a quarter, a year and a half.
Okay.
I'm still in the first year. Lisa Kudrow popped in for a little bit.
Did you know that Jason Sudeikis is George Wendt's nephew?
I did read that in some of the obituaries I was reading. But Lisa Kudrow has brown hair, so it took me a bit to recognize her. And she's also playing deadpan girl. Very different than what she normally does.
Mm-hmm. This is right before Friends?
Yeah, a year, maybe two. Might have been the year before she got fired off Frasier. So then 2 years from Friends.
Wait, she was on Frasier? I didn't know that.
So she was in the pilot of Frasier playing Roz. But Jimmy Burrows didn't like her and fired her.
Okay.
And then when Jimmy Burrows was directing the Friends pilot, she was terrified she was going to get fired again. But he was like, no, you're good this time.
That's right. He's in Sandy Wexler.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He plays the testimonial.
We talked about it in that episode, but I don't remember it.
Sure we did.
Oh, you know what? He's in the Spice Girls movie.
Oh, okay.
Was like a Hollywood agent trying to pitch a movie about the Spice Girls.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Bob Newhart had 4 TV shows on.
This is the last one he did?
This is actually the third one. I thought the one he did with Judd Hirsch was in the early 90s, but that's actually in 1998. So this one was in the early 90s, which is impressive because this show starts 2 years after his last show ended. That show went on for 8 years, and he was like, I'm ready to do it again.
You watched the episode The Game.
That's right.
That's the episode I'm seeing now. 33 episodes, 3 unaired.
But those are in the DVD collection.
Oh, do you have that?
No, but I'm gonna watch it on this weird YouTube channel, and then I'm gonna buy it on
Betty
Amazon.
White is in this?
She shows up in the second season.
Isn't it so funny? The whole Betty White, they had this big promotion for her 100th birthday, and then she dies 3 weeks before she turned 100. Do you remember that?
No.
A couple of years ago?
No.
I'm just seeing it now. December 31st, she was like, peace, bye.
Yes. I'm not doing another year. No.
Well, her birthday is January 17th, so she was really like, nah, I'm not into this. And she was, wow, her last husband. So her first husband married 1945, divorced 1945. Second husband, 47 to 49. Third husband, 63 to 81. And then she's like, I'm good. I don't need any more men for the next 40-something years of my life. More than that, right? More? 40? No, 40. 40. That's right, 40.
Math is hard. It's all right, Joe. I bet God's pretty good at math, you know?
God, he gives you 7 fingers instead of 5.
Yeah, that's just bad arithmetic.